Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a new subscriber, thank you for subscribing. And if you're an old subscriber, thank you as well. And if you've not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on post notification so as to get notified when new videos are dropped. So now we're going to be making this beautiful Bubu dress with two Ankara prints and a plain fabric at the center. Let's get right into the video. So firstly, we'll be needing our two Ankara print fabric, and then we'll be needing a plain fabric of about half a yard. I used crepe. You could use any fabric of your choice, and then threads, scissors, chalk, and your measuring clips. So after that, you're going to go ahead to fold your fabric into two and then measure the length that you need. I measured 60 inches. Measure your length and then you cut out the two fabrics, and then that's going to leave you with four pieces of the Ankara fabrics. So after you've done that, you go ahead to measure take your shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement is from your center back of your neck to where you want the bubble to reach. So apparently I wanted mine to be before my elbow. So I measured from my center back to my elbow, and then I chalked that, which was 21 inches, and then I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. After that, you cut that out, and then you go ahead to open up the center front of the dress. After you've done that, you go ahead to mark 1 inch sewing allowance for the front of the dress. And why I'm marking 1 inch and not half inches because it has a slit in front of it, so we could fold it. So after that, you're going to go to the edge of your dress and mark out 1.5 inches, and then you connect that to the neck of your dress just to make the dress sit perfectly on your shoulder area. So after you've done that, you go ahead to take your neck measurement. So I used 3 inches, but advisably I'll ask you to use 2.5 inches because I wanted mine to be a wide neck, but advisably for the style, you can use 2.5 inches. So then I took 3 inches by 1. So you take 2.5 inch by 1 inch. That's for the back of the neck. Then after you've done that, you go ahead to take, I'm measuring for the front of the dress now. You go ahead to take 4 inches. I used 5 inches because I wanted it to be really deep. I wanted my dress to be really deep. So advisably, if you don't want it to be deep, use whatever measurements suits you or you prefer. So I used 5 inches by 3 inches. You could also use 4 inches by 2.5 inches, so it will not be as opened as mine. So after that, I went ahead to cut out the back for the four pieces together. I cut that out, and then I cut out the shoulder area as well. So after I'm done cutting, I went ahead to take our sleeve measurement. So our sleeve measurement now is, I'm using 12 inches. Initially I marked 11.5 inches, but I wanted it to be very wide. So I marked 12 inches for the sleeve, and then after that I went ahead to take 3 inches away from the dress, from the body of the dress. So here I'm just trying to curve the 3 inches into the armhole, and then go ahead to mark 3 inches and cut that out. So that's the body of our dress. So after that, I would be cutting out the back design of the dress, which I'll call an interfacing. So here now I'm just marking out a straight line just to make it straight. Not There's no particular reason for that. If you can cut a straight line, you could just cut it like that. It's not a big deal. So after you've done that, You make sure you put the fabric on the 1 inch sewing allowance because the interfacing does not need an allowance. So after that, you measure 6 inches by 6 inches for the back interfacing of the dress. You measure 6 inches by 6 inches and then you mark them together. So after that, I was just trying to create a curved shape. So it's not going to be a square. You could leave yours as a square depending on your preference, what you actually like. But then I just curved that out and then I'll just cut it out. Make sure to always check the 1 inch allowance so you don't make any mistake. Remember that you're not going to place them on the same place. And then here I just wanted to cut the neck of the dress. So I just folded that. And then always remember to consider that 1 inch. So I was just arranging and arranging, and when it was perfectly placed, I just cut it out. So after you've gone ahead to cut out the interfacing, you make sure to iron it either with a tissue stay or you use SD depending on whichever one you have available, but advisably SD. But if you don't have that, use tissue stay. So after that, I'm going ahead to cut the front design, which I'm using 22 inches. You could use longer than that. You could use 26 inches, you could use 27, depending on how long you want the front design to be. So after I cut that out, always remember to check your 1 inch seam allowance area so as not to place the fabric there and then you measure the wrong thing. So after that, I was just checking the full measurement of this, which was 8.5 inches. Then after, I went ahead to measure 6 inches down on the plain fabric. Measured 6 inches, and then I'll go ahead to connect all of them together. So I'll go ahead to measure 11 inches on the 6 inches I already marked. I'll just measure that out. And after I've done that, I'll go ahead to cut out the upper part of that 8 inches. So now I'm just cutting that out. So after I'm done, I'll take one of that and cut out. After that, the other design that is still left, I'm just going to create a curved shape on it. So after I'm done doing that, I'll go ahead to take the neck measurement now. So now the neck measurement is going to be 3 by 5. Remember I said you could use 2.5 by 4 inches, depending on how deep and how wide you want yours to be. You may not use exactly the measurements I'm using because mine was really wide. So after that, you go ahead to cut together with the Ankara fabric. So after you're done cutting, you're going to open up the plain fabric, and then you go ahead to the other side of the neck and measure. I measured 9 inches. If you use 4 inches, you go ahead to take 7 inches. Mine was really wide that my boobs was coming out. So if you don't want yours to be that wide, you measure 7 inches, and then you connect that as a curved shape to the other end of the neck. And mind you, are only cutting this on the plain fabric first before you eventually transfer it to the Ankara fabric. So don't cut out the Ankara fabric mistakenly. So after that, we're going to go ahead to take our slit measurement, which from the shoulder, I measured my slit measurement. I took my slit measurement at 37 inches. So you could take yours at any length you want. So I went ahead to join the slit. I stopped where I already marked for the slit, and then you go ahead to open that up. So after that, we'll now place our plain fabric on the Ankara fabric, and make sure you're placing them very well, like they're aligning so as not to make any mistake. Make sure to check. And then when you've placed it correctly, you just cut it out. So after cutting it out, you go ahead to iron your either tissue stay or air stay to the plain fabric. Then you go to that angle and then you notch it so that folding will be very easy for not about half inch. So it will be very easy for you to fold that area. So after that, you go ahead to turn the interfacing to the dress. But mind you, you're turning it outside, not inside. So after you've done that, you notch the neckline and then you turn that out after you've notched it. And then you iron, you press the neck area very well so that it will rest well. And then after you've done that, you go ahead to hem the design on the Ankara fabric. So here now I've gone ahead to hem that side. So I'm going to turn the interfacing for the back of the dress. Mind you, when you're turning, make sure you're placing the interfacing to the front. So here I've joined it, I've notched, and I'm going ahead to sew that down to the Ankara fabric. So here I've gone ahead to sew down the interfacing to the back of the dress. So next thing, we're going to be connecting our shoulders together and go ahead to sew it down. So here I've gone ahead to sew the shoulders together, and then I'll go to my sleeve and hem that down by 1 inch. So here I've already hemmed the sleeve. So I'll go ahead to fold the dress and sew the body by 1 inch. So I've gone ahead to do that. So here now, this is the slit of the dress. So on the slit, you go ahead to fold it since we use 1 inch. So here you could place your Emmy gum if you don't want to top stitch, but I'll be top stitching on the slit. So after I've done that, I went ahead to end the lower part of the dress, and finally this is our beautiful dress. So here is our beautiful dress. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing. And if you're yet to subscribe to the channel, what are you waiting for? Kindly hit the subscribe button See you in another video. Bye.